The Atlantic meridian overturning circulation is changing. It takes warm surface water from the tropics of the Northern Hemisphere and distributes it to the North Atlantic. Then the cooled saltier water sinks and flows south. Simple and effective for the globe to maintain a viable climate. Climate change is creating less saline water in the North Atlantic. Global weather patterns are critically linked to the circulation and transport of heat and nutrients throughout the planet's oceans. The collapse of this system would result in catastrophic changes in the Northern Hemisphere. Increased sea level rise, extreme winters in Europe, and alterations of the monsoon systems in the tropics would be exacerbated. The ocean currents in the Atlantic affect the global climate, including the sea levels and weather subsystems around the world. This is not a new discovery. A recent report in Nature Climate Change explains how the currents have an almost complete loss of stability over the last century due to global climate change. The author, Dr. Boras, analyzes data from the ocean temperature, salinity, and other factors to show the current's circulation has weakened. The Atlantic Meridional Overturning circulation flows north with warm water from the South Atlantic. When it reaches the North Atlantic, it cools, and evaporation increases the salinity of the water, causing the more saline water to sink and flow south. The Atlantic Meridional Overturning circulation has slowed down in the past when global temperatures increased. When this happens, the European temperatures plummet, increasing the number of storms and changing regional climate conditions. The possibility of food shortages in South America and India will be exacerbated due to rising sea levels and climate change-induced migration of coastal areas. The report states, this decline may be associated with an almost complete loss of stability over the course of the last century, and it could be close to critical transition to its weak circulation mode. As the Arctic and the Greenland ice sheets melt, a related study from February 2021 estimates the Atlantic meridional over circulation could be reduced by 45% by the year 2100. Michael E. Mann, a distinguished professor of atmospheric science at Penn State University, is the author of numerous papers and several books, including The New Climate War. This shows how fossil fuel companies waged a 30-year campaign to deflect and blame the responsibility and delay action on climate change. Quote, this work provides additional support for our earlier work in the same journal, Nature Climate Change, suggesting that a climate change-induced slowdown of the ocean's conveyor belt circulation already underway, decades ahead of schedule. Yet another reminder that uncertainty is not our friend. Dr. Mann continues, there are surprises in store, and they are likely to be unpleasant ones when it comes to climate change crisis. Hypothetically, end quote, hypothetically, Northern Hemisphere winters are no longer mild and precipitation patterns move to south to Central Africa. Christian Prosciutto, assistant professor at the University of Illinois' Urban Campaign Studies Global Warming Consequences, states, if the worst-case scenario comes to pass, we can certainly expect to see dramatic changes in climate in the far north of Europe. The data we have is too short to say with any real confidence whether the collapse of the North Atlantic overturning circulation is truly imminent, he states. The question for me is, how risk-averse should we be in the face of uncertainty, and how much do we want to avoid high-cost, low-probability worst-case scenario? Given the how high the cost would be, we should